Today on Locked On Red Wings, we're going to do our final grade of the grading season, grading Steve Yzerman. We're also going to give you a little bit of news and notes on the Red Wings side of things, as well as just give you an overall playoff update and, how we're feeling on it.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. We're just vibing today. Today's just a vibe,
Big vibes.
Just big vibes. Thanks for making us your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms. Yeah, today's a vibe.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. Yeah. Every single vibe. Thanks for being patient. We took a little 3-day weekend. I was out of town, and where I was, the internet reception was very poor. So we were like, we haven't missed an episode.
Early days of us being a duo. We recorded once when you were there, and it was really rough audio quality that episode. Yeah. It was pre-YouTube days as well. So yeah.
And we were just like, we haven't missed an episode since it's the Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl is the last episode we missed.
Yeah, it's been months since we've missed an episode, and technically, like people behind the curtain, we're allowed to miss like once or two a month, and miss is not even the right word, but you get what I'm saying.
We have
we have a minimum, that we're supposed to hit every month.
Peek behind the curtain for those listening.
We've just been we haven't missed a weekday in literally months. So
as a non-playoff team,
right? Yeah.
Anyways, so into the topics for today. So we're gonna lead off a little bit of news and notes on the Red Wings side of things. They made a couple signings in the over the weekend. We'll talk briefly about those. They're not like groundbreaking signings or anything. We're also going to finish up our grades for the season, and then we'll be done. But we need to grade Steve Yzerman as a whole. We're not going to grade the coaching staff because, with the exception of like Alex Tanguay, the coaching staff is gone. And then finish off, if there's time, we'll just talk a little bit about playoffs. We haven't talked about the playoffs at all, and some wild stuff's going on. In fact, we're recording right now as the St. Louis and Colorado game's going on. Insane game happening in St. Louis right now. Nazem Kadri is an absolute menace on the ice.
Menace, baby. I got it going on right here too.
Living rent-free in every single Blues player's head. It's crazy. But lead things off. So first and foremost, the Red Wings announced an extension for Taro Hirose over the weekend. He is getting 2 more years at $850,000 per year. It's the same as he's made this last year. I believe that is the league minimum NHL contract.
Days, yep.
My takeaway from that is good for Taro Hirose. He's, like I said when we graded him, he is that replacement level player. If there's, you need an extra body at the NHL level, San's a rookie getting called up. He's going to be the guy you call up to fill the hole. And, he fills that role nicely. I really don't have strong feelings one way or the other on Taro Hirose getting a 2-year contract extension.
Yeah, no, look, we talk about organizational depth all the time and where he ranks in terms of, how quickly he's going to get called up or whatnot. That is different for, that will vary from team to team, like where, if Taro Hirose was on the Lightning, like obviously he would be way that's an incredibly deep organization. But those replacement level guys are needed in every organization. So, I think, ideally we'd get some other players to cushion in between Hirose and the NHL roster, right? That would
ideally
that would show signs of the roster improving. But having him as kind of like the, he's needed. He's needed within the organization. Those type of players are needed. And they're also valuable in GR. Like those kind of players are having some seasoned veterans are valuable in Grand Rapids as well. So Yeah, not anything that's mind-boggling, but I can't imagine that anyone is like up in arms, pissed off about like like this move. But it's organizational depth signing. Sure, sure,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, if
and good for him for real. That's good for him. Anytime you're kind of a fringe player like that, and you can ink in a multi-year extension, that is a major accomplishment for your career and for your family. So congrats to him, and yeah, we'll take it. Sure.
well, and again, like he had 4 points in 15 games played. He got called up after bunch of injuries, but he's a good AHL player. He had 53 points in 59 games with the Griffins this year, so he's just going to be one of those guys who is damn good at the AHL level, but just at the NHL level, just can't quite like
Yeah.
Jamel Smith was.
Yep.
Jamel Smith's similar, and at the AHL level, he performs really well. But he's just one of those guys who can't quite make that leap because the skill gap between the NHL and AHL, especially the big thing is hockey IQ. Like the pace of play is so much faster. You can be able to think the game faster. And Taro Hirose,
Yes, the speed and the pace of the
yeah.
game is yeah, the easily the biggest for sure.
And so Hirose's just not going to be an everyday NHLer, but like you said, Scotty, everything you said, 100% agree. He is a depth forward through and through. Gets called up during injury. He'll be down there in Grand Rapids getting points, and that's all you need out of Taro Hirose. Again, I don't feel strongly one way or the other. The other signing that happened, this one came as a bit of a surprise. I did not see this one coming, but the Red Wings sign Ann Arbor native Steven Kampfer. He spent last year with SK Bar. I'm not really familiar with KHL teams that well. I believe that was the only season he's played in the KHL as he spent the rest of his NHL career. Well, I just said it. In the NHL, he got drafted in 2007 by the Anaheim Ducks in the 4th round. Made his NHL debut with Boston. He had stints with Minnesota, Florida, New York, back to Boston before going to the KHL last season. He's a right-handed depth defenseman who is 33 years old. I firmly believe, Scotty, that he's just an AHL defenseman for the Red Wings next season and will get called up again like Taro Hirose if there's enough injuries to warrant it.
For sure, yeah. I think these kind of signings you're seeing are more so just a sign that there were some roster openings and some holes on the on the Griffins roster more so than anything it says about the NHL team. So yeah, I totally agree. And like I said with Hirose, man, veterans are valuable at that level, even if they're not like former all stars or anything. Just having anybody with NHL experience to play at the AHL level is a valuable weapon and a valuable tool to have in that locker room. So again, not some groundbreaking, oh my goodness, we're winning the cup signing, but valuable. It should be a valuable signing if everything goes well. So sure, and it kind of cool added storyline of him being from here.
Yeah, he's going to be making $750,000, or that's his cap hit at least. So I guess maybe that's I said that Hirose was making the league minimum, but here Kampfer's making $750,000 or $100,000 less.
Well,
but
yeah, cap
you're
hit versus everything is all different.
You're splitting hairs at this point. The point being, he's again a depth deal. He has a minor league salary of $300,000, and that's what he'll be making down at the AHL level, which is what we assume he'll be playing most of the year. He only gets paid at $750 if he plays at the NHL level, which a handful. I can't imagine you're going into next season with him being on the NHL roster as an everyday defenseman, as he's never never played in a full NHL season before.
Yeah, Scott. No, that's definitely not the plan. But again, this really just comes back down to, with this offseason, how many steps away is he going to be? That's like the, you know what I mean? That's the thing to watch out for with signings like this. Not watch out for sounds really dramatic. That's the like starting point. That's your reference point. And where you as the offseason goes on, that's what you're looking at is how many steps away from an NHL roster is this dude going to be from here on out or going into next season.
And I mean this with all the kindness in my heart. Hopefully several steps away from the NHL roster.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not a shot against him, but it just
depth signings are important. You need to fill out several rosters, not just your NHL one. So like I'm totally for it. But you're also right. As far as the NHL team goes, probably should throw in a few more defense. We should probably bring in a few defensemen this offseason. I think we can all agree on.
Oh, easily the one of the biggest needs in the free agent market for sure. Got to talk to you guys today about Athletic Greens. Our next partner is a product you need to use almost every single day. You need to start using AG1 because with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all those things. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. Tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high-quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. AG1 is small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take care of your health. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews recommended by professional athletes such as Tarek Skubal, who's been absolutely tearing it up with the Detroit Tigers this season. One of the only things that the Tigers have going for them this season so far. Trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Segment 2, Lockdown Red Wings podcast. Scotty and I are going to transition now into our Steve Yzerman, the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings, giving him our grade on the season. And I'm trying my hardest, Scotty, because, him being Steve Yzerman, him being who he is, I feel like it's really easy to fall into that trap of bias, hardcore bias. There's a lot of history there, and I'm trying to be as objective as possible when looking at what he's done. I guess the first thing I should ask, Scotty, is where do we begin his season? Do we start with the 2021 draft and the offseason through the end of the season, or do we strictly speak start of the season through the end of the season? Because I feel as if maybe we should do the entire 2021 offseason leading up to the season, because that for him is part of his season.
Right. So I believe that the GM's next season starts at the NHL draft. So yes, I think that because the free agency is after the draft. So I think from draft, that is like the sign of okay, the next season is starting. That's my eyes. This previous season's over, next season's starting. So I think for him we should do NHL draft to game 82.
I think I'm in complete agreement with you. I think that's the best way to go about it. And he had a really active offseason. I remember being active in the moment, but I forgot just how many deals he made at the deadline, or not the deadline, the draft day, to swap picks and how that caused us to gather guys. I mean, the first thing he did July 16th was trading Richard Panik while retaining 50% of that salary and trading away the 2021 second round pick that ended up becoming Aatu Ratti for Nick Leddy. He also acquired Alex Nedeljkovic for Jonathan Bernier and the signing rights of Jonathan Bernier and the 2021 third-round pick, as well as trading 3 draft picks during the NHL draft for the 15th overall, which ended up being Sebastian Cossa. Plethora of other picks, which ended up landing a Shai Boom, Oscar Plandowski, Redmond Savage. He traded our 6th-round pick for this upcoming draft for Mitchell Stevens. So, and then, of course, the trade deadline as well, which was trading away Stetcher for a 7th, trading away Witkowski and Leddy for the second-round pick in 2023, Jake Wallman, Oscar Sundqvist, and then trading away Vladislav Nemesnikov with 50% retained for a 4th-round pick in 2024. Also, Nick Leddy, we retained 50% on that as well, but we're just expiring contracts. It's all negligible anyway.
Expiring contracts, and we have so much cap.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I noticed this today. I don't want to get off topic. We're about to break down Steve Yzerman's season. But Franz Nielsen's buyout this next offseason goes from $4.5 million to $500,000.
Wow.
So the Red Wings are going to be getting $4 million in extra cap space this offseason coming up.
Because we were so strapped. We needed so much more.
It always helps to have more, though.
No, it does. No, I'm not. It wasn't a slight. It's just like we already have so much, and now we're getting even more of a boost. That's crazy.
But yes, when it comes to Steve Yzerman, Scotty, what grade do you give the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings this past season?
I mean, I think it's pretty hard not to give him. I'm back and forth between an A and an A minus. Like that's I think that's where I stand at. I don't think it's an A plus, because I think an A plus would have seen a lot more on ice success this season. But I still think that we are set up incredibly nicely and have one of the best future situations in the sport when it comes to teams that are rebuilding or coming out of rebuilds. I mean, the trade deadline I thought was a fantastic trade deadline. Stetcher, getting anything for him is something. The Leddy trade was phenomenal. Vlad, people didn't, you didn't get as much as people wanted for him, but at the end of the day, I said this at the deadline, and I'll say it again. I think if Vlad isn't like a dude that everybody loves, people aren't all up in arms about moving him for a 4th rounder next year. I don't think his value was too terribly much more than that. And at the end of the day, you are whatever the market says you are. And if no one was offering any more than that, then that's what it was at. And there was no point in holding on to an expiring deal. So I think the trade deadline was a Steve Yzerman victory. I thought the draft was phenomenal. I think most people thought that our draft was really good. And I thought that free agency was pretty successful based on the players that we re-signed and the outside talent that we brought in. I don't think we had any massive failures in free agency. We didn't make any huge moves, but I don't think we had any massive flops that I can think of off the top of my head in free agency this season either. I mean, I guess I'll go A minus. I guess I'll go because the on ice product there was a lot of room for improvement for the on the ice product, but between Raymond making the opening night roster, that was obviously a great move. Sider, I mean, not that there was any chance he wasn't going to make the opening night roster, but him getting on there is a great move. I don't know, just it's really hard for me to give him any worse than that, even though I know a lot of people wanted the season to go a lot better. I can't imagine giving him too much worse than like a 90. I think that all the moves he made were in a vacuum successful moves. It's just a matter of adding all those up to make a successful season now.
It's really hard to tell too, because it's we talk a lot about where the expectation is, and I feel like Steve Yzerman's bar is so high already, just because, and again, that's where that bias comes in. Maybe we all have this in our head that Steve Yzerman is the best general manager in the league, and that could very well be true. I mean, we've seen what he did in Tampa. And so a lot what he did this offseason was stuff that you would expect him to do, but also I don't think that, okay, he did what you expected to do. He deserves a C, because those are the right moves to make in public perception. I mean, the biggest splash he made in free agency was signing Pius Suter to a 2-year deal. I mean, that he got a temporary second line center, and Pius Suter is fine. Extending Robbie Fabry. He bought out Franz Nielsen this past offseason as well. Drafting Simon Edvinsson, which again was a question mark, and same with, and when I say question mark, I don't mean we were questioning it, but there are other guys on the board people wanted. He did that again, and Simon Edvinsson had a phenomenal year over in the SHL. Sebastian Costa's not the goalie that everyone wanted. People wanted Wellstat. In fact, Wellstat was interviewed on this podcast. You don't have to tell
this fan base. Yeah. You don't have to tell this podcast community. Yeah.
But go and look at what Costa's doing in the WHL playoffs. He's absolutely killing it. He's been phenomenal. And so, the things that he does continue, even the things that fans might question at the moment end up seeming to be good things. And there are plenty of things that haven't worked out. I don't think really Mitchell Stevens trade has really worked out that well, but you gave a 6th round pick So you didn't really lose anything. I mean, I think the biggest loss that the Red Wings have gotten in a trade was, and this is hindsight, but you gave up a second round pick for Nick Leddy, and that second round pick became Ato Ratti, and he's been fantastic, in his development. But you ended up recouping that second round pick and 2 players in return.
Right.
So like, it's not that big of a loss. I mean, I guess you could make the argument for the 4th round pick for Nestikov, but he hasn't lost really anything. He's only been gaining, and like some of the assets he's been gaining, might just be depth pieces, but they're all really good, and he's been gaining what I would argue blue chip prospects on the way in Simon Edvinsson. So, I mean, I'm with you. It's got to be at least like a 90%, an A-, because while he's been meeting the expectation for a lot of things, that expectation was to continue to build the roster, and
Right.
the team excelled, but he's also made tough, and the team's also, failed at some things as well, but he's put the team in the best position moving forward. And I mean, he's made those tough calls as well. I mean, part of being a general manager isn't just trading guys and signing guys. It's also firing your head coach when he doesn't meet your
Right. I was just
expectation
gonna
after
say
giving
that
an
firing
extension.
Blashill, I think, is a win. Like,
Yeah. So it's hard to grade the general manager because there's so much that goes into it, and it's so hard to just confine everything that Yzerman does to a letter grade. But I do think the best grade we can give him is like an A-, and I think to get like an A+, he would have to go out there and make some. I mean, like last season, for example, an A+ Yzerman year was trading Mantha for
right.
2 first-round picks and a
And
first and a
Verona.
second and of Jacob Verana. I mean, that is an A+ season for Steve Yzerman. But he also, did acquire Alex Nedeljkovic for, a draft pick and the rights to Jonathan Bernier, who then went on to sign with the Devils instead. So I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling here. It's just really hard to give the letter grade, but if I have to give a letter grade, I got to give it, and this is just pure gut feeling, A-. Like
Yeah.
it's in that A range, but nothing this season has me saying, okay, well, this was, phenomenal.
No, I agree. Like I said, there wasn't that big shocking, like, oh my goodness, like Steve Yzerman masterclass. I mean, the Letty deal, I guess, but that still wasn't of the magnitude of like a crazy high end acquisition. So it kind of lacked that, I guess. And like I said, the on the ice product still wasn't great. Um, but I,
That's part of the rebuild, right?
right, that's I think I don't think that that's too terribly much his fault for this season. I mean, look at what he took over. So I think that at the end of the day, going into this season, we wanted to see a step in the right direction. We saw a big step in the right direction. We saw the young kids come up and produce. We saw more trades that we won. We saw another good draft. That sounds like about an A or an A- to me.
Yeah, I think you summarize it really well. An A- simply because the team continues to take a step in the right direction, and that is because of what Steve Yzerman is doing. That is the most succinct way of saying it after 10 minutes of me rambling on it. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next year's NFL futures. BetOnline is continuing to be your number one source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So now we're finally done with all our grades. Yzerman getting an A- being the final one. We got one segment left here, Scotty, and something we haven't really talked about so far, and I think a lot of that is because we're like, we got to find a way to spin it Red Wings, and it's just like, let's just talk playoffs.
Yeah.
The NHL playoffs have been going on, and they have been absolutely phenomenal. The first round is really exciting in a lot of different ways. But this second round, you have the Battle of Florida, which just wrapped up today, with the Florida Panthers ending up getting swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning, despite the Panthers actually showing up to the rink today, or last night by the time you're listening to this, to play and outshooting the Lightning by almost double. Andrei Vasilevsky, being Andrei Vasilevsky, stood on his head
Unreal.
and made
I mean,
40-some saves.
peek behind the curtain. I had in my bracket, I had Florida making the cup.
Yeah, me too. But see, and this is where my hesitancy was with the Panthers is on paper. I mean, they won the President's Trophy. On paper, they're the best team, but the one area they lacked was playoff experience, and we've seen it time and
Absolutely.
time again. And it's so easy to say this in hindsight. I picked them to go to the Cup final. I can't remember if I picked them to win or not.
I had
It
them
was,
winning. I had them winning the cup in 6.
against who? Was it the Avalanche? Because I picked the Avalanche in the West.
I think it was the Avs.
You and
I'd have
like
to double check.
99%
I
of the
haven't
other.
looked at it since I knew after the first round that it was toast. But
Dude,
I think it might have been the Avs.
These playoffs have just been so wild. And yeah, the Panthers like lacked that playoff experience, and we saw it with the Colorado Avalanche a few years ago when they were an up and coming team. They were getting knocked out, and they were getting frustrated because they
It's
just
a big deal in hockey, man.
that the playoff because the
Really big
playoffs
deal in
it's another cliche, but the playoffs are such a different sport. I remember watching.
I think truly, I think when it comes to on ice field court play, hockey is the most different from regular season to postseason. Like baseball has different management styles, but the game still remains, the same level of play. It's just, like you go to your bullpen quicker, like that. That's like the big thing. Football is, I mean, maybe a little more intense, but like football's a pretty damn intense game. I feel like that's pretty much the same. You only have a 17-game season. You got to play, all out every single game. That's pretty close to the same game. Basketball, I mean, basketball playoffs don't even start until the conference finals in my eyes. Like it's hockey truly is like the sport where in the postseason it is different, man. Like
Oh, dude,
it is different, and that experience goes a long way. And I think it is a cliche in other sports, but I don't think it's a cliche in hockey. Like I think that it
it's
is very much like that. That's real. Like you need playoff experience. You
you
need
sit
it.
down and you watch a Red Wings hockey game at the end of the season. And I granted, like they're not playing for anything at this point, so the intensity might be a bit lower. You sit down and watch a Red Wings playoff game against the Devils to end the season, and then a week later, you
Right.
turn on Game 1, Round 1. And I remember watching Tampa Toronto, and that was a great series in Round 1, and just being like, I miss this
LOL
so
Leafs,
much.
by the way.
LOL Leafs. They actually played a good game in Game 7. They just couldn't get it done. It
No, you
wasn't
know
like
what's
an epic
crazy?
choke
I don't
job.
remember who it might have been Jay Fresh. I don't remember who it was, but somebody put like all the advanced numbers out there, and Toronto like analytically outplayed Tampa in Game 7. And
Vasilevsky.
yeah,
This
time and
dude's
time
amazing.
again.
Well, and this is where also the playoff experience thing comes in. Like the Lightning out of the last 3 years, so they won the cup back-to-back years. They look the worst they have. Not that
Yeah,
they
in the
look
regular
bad,
season, yeah.
but by comparison, they look the worst they have. They look like they really have like Stanley Cup fatigue, but they have that experience. They know how to play in the playoffs, and I think that does go a long way. And I'm not trying to shortchange how good their roster is. They're phenomenal.
Oh no, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
But you take a team that just won back-to-back cups and you face them against the Panthers, who might have been President's Trophy winners, but haven't gotten out of the first round since the 90s. This is the first time they've gotten out of the first round since 1996.
Yeah,
And you put them
like,
in
look,
back-to-back champs, man. It's tough.
for sure. And like everybody loves to clown on the Leafs for sure, and I do too, and it's hilarious. But like that is for my money, Toronto has the deepest forward group in the entire NHL. That is an unbelievably talented forward group from line 1 to line 4. And to go in and come back in a series and win like that, like it's unreal. And then turn around and follow up a 7-game series like that and turn around and then and then sweep. Nuts, man.
And I mean, it just goes to show too, like it doesn't. Once you get to the playoffs, it doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. Like the Panthers dominated the entire regular season.
What, 2016 or 17 was that the Preds were the 16 seed and made the cup like that?
Well,
like,
the Kings in 2012 were the 8th seed in the
the
West.
Blues were the worst team in the NHL at the All-Star break and won the cup
in 2019. The playoffs are completely. It's the start of a new season.
Did you see Sundqvist was at the Blues game, by the way?
I'm not surprised.
He was wearing like I forget what shirt he was wearing. Some ode to somebody on the team. I don't remember who though.
I wonder if he's at this.
But yeah, and like the official Blues account literally tweeted like "Sonny is here," like whatever. It was super funny.
I wonder if he's still if he's at this game right now that's happening while we record, where Kadri just scored a hat trick against the Blues.
Yeah, what did I say?
Oh, I thought you said it was at the last Blues game. Oh, this is game
Oh,
3.
no.
This is the
Well,
first home
last
game.
night for when they're listening to this.
Oh,
Tonight,
yeah.
as
Never
we're
mind. I'm an
recording, yeah.
idiot, so don't worry about it.
No,
I
no,
got
he's literally
confused.
there right now. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, watching Kadri drop 3. Oh, God, that's – and you know what's funny is coming into this series and into the second round, I was like,
Kadri's
Avalanche
nice,
Blues is
man.
going to be the most boring series. I was like, the Blues just aren't that good
I
like
can't
right now.
stand the St. Louis Blues.
I can't stand them either. I was like, oh, the Avs are
Not
just going to
me.
blow them out. And they kind of are. But, like, the drama with Kadri and Binnington
Oh,
has
yeah.
been – well, like, there's a lot of layers to it. But we don't got to get into that.
How
But
about the Battle of Alberta in a playoff series? Electric Factory.
I want McDavid to win a Stanley Cup so bad,
So
but I also don't want the Oilers to win a Stanley Cup because I don't want to validate anything that Ken Holland's doing out there. Because if
fair.
it just the idea that Duncan Keith at 38 years old and Mike Smith at 40 years old is Ken Holland's idea of
Right.
surrounding McDavid with enough talent to win a cup
And what's
is
his face?
ludicrous to me. And if so, and Evander Kane.
Kane,
Evander
yeah.
Kane is
I like how
very
you know
talented
who
at
I meant by
hockey.
what's his face. I don't want to
Yeah.
say his name.
Listen, he's really good at hockey. He's just a complete prick off the ice.
Yeah, to put it
but
lightly, yeah.
At least there's an argument to be made there that you made that signing to win hockey games. If you're trying,
Well,
but
he certainly did that. And like,
you just can't ignore what he is off the ice. That's the
right, for
problem.
sure. It's I want McDavid to win a cup really badly. He's been unreal in the postseason, by the way. Good mother of Moses. Unbelievable. But my thing is, I have way too much fun clowning on my Canadian friends for the streak. That's my thing. Like all of my friends north of the border, I have way too much fun clowning on them for the streak. That's my biggest thing. Is I want McDavid to win more than the next guy. I love the man, but yeah, I would really like the no Canadian team to win the cup streak to continue at the same time.
Dude, I get it because Canadian hockey fans are so like pretentious. That's the nice word to use. Pretentious about hockey.
It's honestly, it's mostly Toronto, but like
it is mostly Toronto. But like Canadians fans can get there.
Oh,
I haven't had enough
fans for sure.
Oilers fans can for sure because they have that uppity.
You know who has a nice fan base? The Ottawa Senators.
Sure. I don't know if any fan base is nice. Like,
no, I don't think
Red Wings fans are great, but we're also Red Wings fans. So
yeah, I don't think there's a single fan base in sports that is like, oh yeah, they're all nice. That doesn't exist. So
yeah, but I mean, out of these 4 series that are going on right now, and Carolina and Shesterkin and Kreider putting the Rangers on their back to finally get them their first win of that series, but Carolina just being what Carolina is.
Yep.
All 4 of these series going on right now are so good.
So good. Man, I'll tell you what, the Battle of Alberta, that whole series is some of the most fun.
That first game was
like
9-6.
That takes playoff hockey to like even another level that it's already at to me. Like it's so crazy, man.
Did you see Lucic run Smith the other day, by the way?
Oh, how about we need to give how about the Stars series? How about that?
Ottinger? Yeah.
We need to give Ottinger some props, man.
Dude, Dallas got outplayed in every single one of those games, and the only reason they made it to 7 games is because of Ottinger with a 9.55 save percentage in the first round. Yeah. Absolutely unreal. And then right after that, their head coach stepped down.
Yep.
He's tough week. Tough week for Dallas Stars fan. Although I hear a lot of them are kind of soured on him anyways, saying that he's the reason why Ottinger had to put the team on their back. But I miss it.
I miss it too, man. That's the biggest thing whenever I watch playoff hockey. I'm just like, I miss it, man. I miss it so much.
It's so different, man. I cannot.
You know what's crazy? I was
crunchy
in
peanut butter.
I was in college the first time the Red Wings did not make the postseason in my entire life. I was in college.
I mean, I was born in 96. Yeah, so same thing. I graduated college in 2018, so 2017 was the first year they missed. So yeah, I was a junior in college when they missed for the first time.
It was that would have been the end of my 27. It was 16-17 they missed, right?
Yes.
So that was exactly my freshman year at college. Yeah, I was in the dorms, and I remember the chase actually. Yeah, I was still in
God,
the
you're such a
dorm.
baby compared to me.
Yeah, you're old, dude.
Anyways, we're just
Who do you got winning it? Let's end on that. Who you got winning it?
now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is tough take. That's such a good question because all the teams left are so good. I gotta go with Colorado, but I could see Connor McDavid dragging that team to the playoffs or to the
Well,
cup.
Calgary's nuts. Like you
Yeah.
can very well see Calgary.
The
still,
problem
you know
is
what I mean? Like,
Markstrom is struggling this series.
that's true. That's true. But like Calgary's got a crazy forward core too, man. Like that's yeah. I don't know. I would probably still lean Colorado too, just because. But yeah, there's a lot of good hockey teams left and a lot of good hockey still to be played. I'm pumped.
Yeah. So thanks for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every single day. Now make your second listen Locked On NHL. From first round matchups to each Stanley Cup kiss, Locked On NHL covers the playoffs like no other. Hear the latest news and opinions from your local experts every Monday through Friday. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Scotty and I will be back with a new episode tomorrow. Might be a little bit of evergreen content for you guys. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.
Every day.